This week, Nelson and I welcome Raul Flores, Marketing Director for C.L.E. Cigar Company. Raul has an update of all things C.L.E. Brands include The Asylum, Aurora, Wynwood Hills, and of course, C.L.E. Cigars. You can check them out at clecigars.com. In the second segment, we have commentary and some news along with the sticks that we have been smoking. Stogie Geeks episode 343 starts right now.
This is a Security Weekly production. Broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the show where cigars burn slow, ashes fall fast, and cocktails flow steady. It's the Stogie Geek Show. Welcome, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. Joe and I are already silly.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Josempa, a.k.a. Joe Hollywood, is here with me in studio.
I'm fired up. So we also have remote Drew, who is remote over in Texas. Look at you. You got some Stogie Geek swag going on in the background.
Got my banner.
Where are you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm all set up for the Stogie Geek mobile lounge.
Plasencia Cigars, perfected for more than 150 years. Yours to enjoy now.
Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stogie Geeks episode 343. I am your host, Joe Josempa. Make sure you go to stogiegeeks.com/343 to get links to the websites and host information, stick information, all of that type stuff. That are the show notes here for Stogie Geeks. I am your host, Joe Josempa. Privilege and an honor to be here. Super excited. To my right is Nelson.
What's up, Stogie Geeks? What's up, Joe?
What's up, man? Welcome. Drew is on a hiatus today. I think he's surfing out in Texas. No, I'm only kidding. I don't know what he's doing, but he will be here with us next week there. And now I have the privilege and the honor to introduce you to the marketing director for C.L.E. Cigar Company, and no stranger to the show, Mr. Raul Flores. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Joe? How are you, man? Long time to see you.
I know.
It's always a pleasure being
I
here,
know.
man.
It's been a little bit over a year, believe it or not.
It is.
Since you've been last on, and I'd like to say that I was doing a lot of stuff, but I was doing a lot of stuff at home for half the year, and it's like we're just starting to come out now, and things are starting to get back to somewhat normal. And then in the industry, now we have to hear about all these inventory problems from taking a 6-month hiatus and all of that stuff there too. But you have lots of updates for us here on C.L.E. Can't wait to hear them. Can't wait to talk about them. We'll also talk about what's going on like for the rest of the year and where you're going. So go for it.
Man, I'll tell you what. When everything started, the pandemic, and it was March. So we had everything happening, right? We were going to do IPCPR. We were planning for this and that, and everything obviously changed. We had a few cigars, or we were planning to release new cigars, but like I said, this backed up everything. This changed everything for us. And the first thing that we had to do is, how we're gonna do IPCPR. So we thought, let's take the IPCPR to the people instead of making IPCPR here. So what we did is, I think give me 1 second. Sorry, guys.
Yep.
The dinner series trip. And that way we took the IPCPR to a lot of people. And the advantage that we have is that Christian owns his own plane and he's a pilot. So we were able to, go to the stores and really provide everything, all the service to them, and bring them, we noticed that a lot of people were doing very good in the industry. They were selling very well. So hey, let's keep going with them, let's give them this service and let's, take them what they need. And everybody responded really nice, man. We had a very good crowd. Everybody that went to the dinners had a really good time. They got to see another side of us, Christian was able to explain them everything, what we're doing and what we stand for, man. And it was really nice to see everybody. We would have videos and we would have the things that we did in Honduras. And it's impressive how everybody would pay attention. You would see the heads going and the brand, man, the things that we're doing with the brand and the things that we're moving forward with the brand, it's amazing, man. The programs that we have in Honduras now, it's just to see everybody come together, even with the pandemic going on. And it was really nice, man. Everybody that showed up to those dinner series, man, thank you so much. We appreciate all the love and the efforts. And it was awesome, man.
That's a mouthful, right? You just broke down the whole segment of the show, right over there.
No, man. I know so much.
No, it's great. It's great. Definitely want to talk about factory worker safety towards the end, of course, because I really don't like to shine a highlight on COVID. I mean, we're all aware of it, and I think the media does enough. Not only the cigar media, but the regular media. So we have to touch upon it because I think it's important for the cigar consumers to know that the safety of the workers is important, right? So make sure that I don't forget to talk about that. But when you hopped on a plane, you gotta back that up, right? You hopped on a plane alone with no other company other than what's in the C.L.E. profile, correct? And then you did like a.
Oh, we took it.
You took who?
We took Tom. We took everybody.
Yeah. So you took Tom Lazuka for the Stogie Geeks who are just listening. Partner over in Asylum Cigars. Then you took Christian, C.L.E. and the brand there. But there was no other companies other than what's in the C.L.E. portfolio, correct?
No.
Okay, just want to make sure I understand this correctly. No. Then you hop on a plane, just like Bon Jovi would. I love it, right? Right? You hop on a plane and you take the show to the people. How was the response for that? Take us through that, because you obviously, as the marketing director, you have to say, hey, we're gonna be in Atlanta. Like, I can almost probably guess where you went. You went to all the hot spots, right? You guys are stationed down in South Florida, so that's pretty self-explanatory, right? But
we haven't done Florida yet because Florida was a hot spot.
That's true.
So
that's right. Yep.
To the end.
Yeah, that's probably a smart move.
To show up.
Yep. So where did you decide to go, and what was the response like? Like, I'm sure it's one of those business meetings where Christian has his crazy ideas that you guys all have to do. Hey, I got this idea. We're gonna hop on a plane and bring the show to people. So take us through that if you can. That'd be awesome.
So it started like this. All right, guys. We're not gonna have an IPCPR. Nobody's gonna go. And at the beginning, we were trying to be positive here, right? Yeah, right. We're gonna have an IPCPR, even if we make it small, even if we fix it like this, or like we were already planning how to make it safe for everybody. But then IPCPR just said no more IPCPR, and that's when Christian is like, all right, guys, we've done dinners before, which have worked for us in the past when Camacho was there or whatever.
Sure.
So we've done this before, but the only difference is they did it, I think, driving toward to get to the clients. Now this time we took the plane. Every time we had to do COVID tests. So I have done like maybe like 12 COVID tests already.
Okay.
And it's pretty fun. I'm already professional on the COVID test. Thank God we never
right.
we were always negative, and that was a good thing too.
Yes. Yep.
I'm gonna say something that we had like a little theory. It's just a theory, guys. But Christian would ask everybody all the time, especially cigar smokers, like heavy cigar smokers, hey, do you guys heard of any cases within the cigar smokers? Mm-hmm. Because we had this theory.
I get it. Yeah.
That man, cigars are the cure, man.
Well,
like
I get flack sometimes from you smoke cigars and when I was in college I used to smoke cigars and boxing or MMA and all that. And it's like, how could you do all that? Like, dude, man, if I didn't smoke cigars, honestly, like I would honestly like probably choke someone out. Like seriously. Like that's just just and again, even when we go to cigar shops, like we were under lockdown for a full month, right? Now I had the ability to go to the cigar shop that was closed to do Stogie Geeks through the pandemic, because the only person that came into studio was Johnny, and then everyone else just kind of zoomed in just like you. So I went over to Churchill Smoke Shop and Lounge. They were closed to the regular public for the first 6 weeks of like a lockdown, right? But getting past the lockdown, like, we walk around, you got your little hand sanitizer over here, you're walking, you're doing that, and there's a different, you're more aware of it there. And I think that the cigar community is more aware of his or her surroundings than there. And cigars, that stuff is in your lungs and doing your thing, and I'm not saying it's the cure, but at least if you're gonna get it, you've had fun getting it, right? That's all. Right. I mean, if you guys are gonna get it, you guys hopped on a private plane and flew around and selling cigars. I mean, life ain't really that bad during the pandemic.
I don't know. I like Christian's theory. I think he's onto something,
dude. No, because honestly, Christian is. You know what I like about him? He's old school, okay, and he's not afraid to try something. Even if it worked or didn't work in the past. I'm not saying a lot of stuff of his worked or didn't work. I'm just saying he's not afraid. And he's his own person, right?
Yes.
And this is what I like about it, because I remember when I actually had him on here, right? We spent like 40 minminutes talking about his son and 10 minutes talking about cigars, and that was the interview. It was just like, I know, and it was super cool, right? And he does his own thing, but he brings up a valid point. Cigar dinners worked, right?
Absolutely.
We see this in the security field a lot, right? When we used to travel pre-COVID and then go, what happens is if you take a company, they go to a trade show, right? Either in or out of the cigar field. They go to a trade show for 5-6 years in a row, right? After 5-6 years in a row, it gets stale. It's the same thing if you have a family outing and you go everywhere with your family. You bring all the family and do that there. First year you have a good time. Second year, by the time you're at the 6th year, you're like, Mom, Dad, can we go somewhere else? Like, this is getting kind of boring, right? And that's just human behavior. Let alone everything that PCA, IPCPR has been through from an identity perspective and where they're going as an organization. So, Christian, hats off to you. You had the means to do it. You brought back an old school event. I remember when I owned the cigar shop that we got invited to dinners, and they were purchase dinners. They'd take us out to dinner. It was in a banquet, like it was in a banquet hall, right? And then, either buffet style. It was like going to like almost like a wedding. And instead of dancing, you bought cigars. And that's exactly how they were. You went to a banquet hall. You had other cigar people. You guys all fraternized for an hour or two. How's business? What's going on? What's hot? What's not? You guys are all there. You're doing that, and that's when business moves. And that's where I think a lot of organizations have lost their way. And I'm not picking on PCA or IPCPR. They've lost their way when it's business. Because if you don't think that business A, who owns a brick and mortar, talks to business B, who owns a brick and mortar, and then comes around and says, hey, what sells? And then if business B says, this absolutely sells in my shop, the business owner A is saying, why the hell isn't this selling in my shop? Right? And that's what we call, okay, I'm gonna sound like freaking Zig Ziglar over here, right? It's called synergy. And that's what the industry is missing. That is what the industry is missing. It's missing synergy. It's like, okay, if PCA goes away, we're going to go to TAA and we're going to get all our sticks over there for TAA and this and that. And, oh, yeah, we're not going to have an event. We're going to go on Zoom like everyone else. Yeah. Like, we're going to, like, okay, we're not going to do our event. We're now, if you're CE, CI, Cigars International, Holtz, Famous, and you want to go online, that's fine. That's your home. You are online. Right. So you're playing in your domain. But if you're a CLE or an Asylum or anything, if you're Crowned Heads or Oliva or Rocky or freaking Arturo Fluente, JC Newman, you got to get on the road as best way you can as best way you can, right? And as safely
It's the American way.
as you can through COVID. I mean, so super cool. I'm so pumped. I didn't even know this.
Yeah, man, it went really good, and then the people were really happy, man. It's like I said, it's the American way. It's the way sometimes business was conducted, and having Christian there. You have IPCPR, and sometimes you have 5 minutes of Christian.
Sure.
Having these dinners, you have Christian right there. You can ask him, and we were having such a good time. People were not even talking about cigars. They were talking about their lifestyles and what they were doing and how they were doing, and it turned into something more. It's
an experience.
Yeah, it's a nice experience, man.
Well,
and we were all laughing. We were having a good time. And they obviously know it's a business is gonna get conducted, and they're happy to do it right there on the spot, man. And a lot of the stores, and this is a cool thing, like we had our salespeople, find a spot, and that's the other difficult part for them. Like a lot of places were closed, and then some places were like, you know what, we'll do it. We'll take care of it, and we'll make sure everybody's. So everywhere we go, they had a nice spot for us so we can smoke outside, and everybody was just protected. Everybody was, man, the vibe was excellent, and people were reacting very the way it should be, man. Right? They were conscious of everything was happening. Yeah, some people maybe didn't show up at the last minute, but that was from 10. I would say 2 people said, you know what, I'm a little scared. I think I'm not gonna do it. But everybody just went.
It's old school. That's why,
That's great.
In my business, not Security Weekly or Stogie Geeks, but with my business, when COVID hit, I do a lot of television, radio, and sports advertising for market placement. Well, like the Red Sox are selling season tickets now on TV. Thank God they're back to normal. Like, that's over, right?
Yes.
As a Yankee fan, sorry. Right, but they're like selling like season tickets on Facebook. It's phenomenal, right? And then reality hits, and I remember pacing. It was like mid-March, right? No, I'm sorry. It was the end of March, beginning of April. I'm like, okay, my business is losing X amount of dollars on this. Okay, what? It wasn't like, oh wow, like what? I'm like thinking. I'm scratching my head. I'm walking outside, smoking a cigar. My little son goes for a nap. I'm raking my brain. I'm saying, I need to pivot. My business needs to pivot because this is not going away. And then I came to the conclusion right around the 10, about April 10th. I might be making the date, but it's like April 8, 9, 10. It was just before the teens of April. And I said, this will be 2020. Like I said to myself, financially, right? Because you gotta remember, you sell cigars, you make cigars. You sell cigars, you make cigars. You gotta keep it moving, right? You gotta keep it moving. Yep. It's the same thing with me, right? You sell advertisement, you make money. You buy more advertisement, and if you sell more while you buy, you make even more money, right? Because you bought more, and your purchasing power goes up, and then your profit margin goes up. That's how that industry works, right? So you're like, okay. And then I'm like, okay, I gotta pivot because we're not doing baseball. Like, I make a lot of money on Yankee baseball because we play Yankee baseball here in the province metro as well as Red Sox. So it's like, okay, nice. Okay. And so you do that there, and I'm like, okay, baseball's gone, right? I thought it was gone. It's 60 games. It's gone. Football, I've done okay. And I'm like, but the bottom line is I'm saying, oh my God, football. Even if I was thinking about football, it was April then. It's September. I'm saying, how am I going to get through these 6 months? Like you could say, okay, well, baseball's gone. I got football. No. You got 6 months of a gap you got to fill, right? Yeah. And so that's so cool that you did that. And you did it old school, keeping people safe. Town-wise, like, where did you go? Like, do a circuit. Like, where'd you guys go? Because obviously you're going to pull the biggest retailers.
We did the East Coast.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So we did North Carolina, and then we did... we also did New Hampshire, right?
Yep.
And after that, we came back to Miami, took a week off, we tested, and then we went to Georgia.
Yep.
And then from Georgia, we went to Texas.
Yep.
And then Texas, we did Houston one day, and then the next day, or we would stay in Houston 2 days, and then the following day, we'll go to Dallas.
Yep.
And then from Dallas, we come back home.
Yep.
And then we go back to Chicago.
Yep.
And then from Chicago, we moved to Michigan.
Yep.
So we did East Coast, and then we did
the Midwest. Yep.
Midwest.
Yep.
And then we did Oregon at last. But we would always come and then just keep going. And then now we're gonna finish with Tyler. Where we're gonna go now? We're probably gonna go Virginia or New York.
Yep.
We have like two or three more places that we have to go.
Yep. Go to Virginia because the tax is a little lower. Go to Virginia. The taxes are a little low, and it might be more up to buy. Because New York just did a tax raise. We're actually getting a brick and mortar owner from the state of New York to define the actual tax ramifications, because they're not as bad as the headline makes. I know 75. Here comes the hate email. By the way, the switch. Send all your hate email to Nelson at StogieGeeks.com, right? But no, like the switch isn't that bad. It comes out to like $1.80, two and a quarter a stick. We're all gonna spend it. Like it is what it is. Let's just move on with our lives, right? But yeah, so then going to Virginia, and then where else you going? You got a couple. So it's funny because you went to what we call here as all the hot spots. The hot spots. I mean, if you're a forest fire, you're gonna put out the hot spots as quickly as you can, and if you're trying to look for chasing the revenue, you're gonna go to the hot spots. I mean, and so it made sense. Of course you're gonna go to New Hampshire. There's no sales tax up there, and there's a bunch of people who buy up there who are on the map. I mean, you're not gonna go in downtown Boston where there's 2 shops. I mean, it's crazy. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's super cool. So the meals
were reacting really well, man.
Yep. So the meals went well, everything went well, and everybody stayed safe. Everybody had a good time. And what I think is super cool, and then Nelson has a question, I'm sure, right? Is that they got more of Christian. And I don't want to take away from the trade shows, but I can tell you that when I go to a trade show, okay, this is outside of the cigar industry. When I go to a cybersecurity trade show, I have a list, okay? I have a list. It's on my computer. It's in my Google Keep, so I can use it on my phone, right? I put it in the Google Keep notes, and I have a checkbox because I'm very check. And I have a list of places, booths that I must stop at to say hi. And it's amazing how you miss people. Even if you have a conference for 4 days in a row, you miss them because they have their agenda. It's like you're almost better getting them outside of the conference on a regular schedule sometimes. So I think you made the best of a situation, and hats off to you and Christian. Absolutely. Oh, man, that was awesome. And the whole team. Yeah.
Everybody was working really hard during these times, man, and everybody, and I gotta give it to Christian and Tom, these guys went for it. Like you said, they're not afraid, man.
They're not afraid. You can't be afraid. You can't be afraid.
They didn't think about it. They roll up their sleeves, make us work. They were the leaders, man. I gotta give it to them, man.
Yeah,
we're really proud. We're really proud.
You cannot be afraid, and that's what I do here every Friday with Nelson and Drew. Is we roll up our sleeves and just get into it to whoever we're either interviewing or talking about and doing that, because you can't be afraid. You can't be afraid to do that, and you got to be yourselves. And it doesn't hurt that you have access to an airplane. It makes driving a little easier, right?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt.
Listen, guys, I'm gonna tell you something very scary that happened to me and Christian while we were there.
So was Christian flying the plane?
Yeah, he's a pilot, he said.
Was Christian
flying the plane? Yeah,
flying the plane. Okay, you made sure he was okay, right?
He's absolutely
No, I'm only playing.
I trust Christian with my life.
Sure.
When I'm in that plane, believe me, he's a very good pilot. And I'm gonna tell you a story right now. So we were gonna go to New Hampshire again. Right, and we were gonna go to I think it was an event with his brother, with Aladino, actually.
Where are you going? Twins or twins?
2 guys
or 2 guys?
2 guys.
Yeah, all right. I knew you were going one of the 2, right?
So we're on our way. We are like 20 minutes on the flight, right?
Yep.
All of a sudden, I feel we're just going down, and I'm telling you guys, we're going down. I think Christian is playing a prank on me because I'm the only one there, and he's with the co-pilot, and he's flying his plane. Yep. And I'm thinking, man, this guy is probably making fun of me. He's about to do something really hard, and they're just having a good time.
Yeah.
Making fun of me. And we have a map in the cell phone. So I'm looking at the map and I see that we're turning around, right?
Yep.
As I look, I'm not afraid of flying. I'm not afraid of anything like that. But I'm thinking, man, something wrong probably happened because it seems like we're going back. So we stop. We land on Palm Beach International Airport.
Okay.
And Christian goes, "My man, you are one of the best passengers I've ever had in my life. If you only knew what just happened right now." I'm like, "What happened?" He goes, "Look at the front shield. Man, the front shield of the plane was cracked.
Are you serious?
In the middle while we were flying.
Wow. What was like a bird?
So, man, the engine was overheating something, and it was not cooling.
Oh,
the
so
cooling
it
system
rattled.
was
Yeah,
not
yeah,
working.
Yep. Combustion. Yeah. Yep.
So it made I believe the shield, the windshield, it's not made of like glass. It's like a plastic.
Yes.
Or it's like
Yeah.
some kind of like. So it just cracked.
Yeah.
And Christian just got afraid, and the altitude that we had.
Sure.
The only one dying is me,
Yeah.
not them.
Yeah.
They have the oxygen.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit scary. And yet, when we landed, the guys were like, "Hey guys, look, you can still fly back, but you guys got to go back home. Not you can't fly like this to New Hampshire." So Christian looked at me. He's like, "Are you okay to go back?" And I'm like, "Man, we're already here. Let's go back." So we went back. With the wind cracked and everything, with the shield cracked. It was pretty fun, man.
Yeah.
It's a cool story.
Did you keep the mask close to you? You're
I told him next time, please have oxygen in the tank, man, or something for us.
Yeah.
Man. We don't know. He's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, man,
right.
you should have."
Yeah, you should. Yeah. That's all. That's so. So, did you make it for your interview? Yeah, you made it for your interview.
No, we didn't. We
No,
didn't go.
yes, because that was like 2-3 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
So
crazy.
we didn't.
Wow. That's thank you.
We're
So,
survivors, man. We're survivors. I'm telling you.
is the windshield fixed now for the next flight?
It's fixed. It's
All
fixed.
right,
We just went to the Bahamas really quick, and that thing is brand new.
All right, cool. You went to the Bahamas really quick. You're gonna swing by here and pick me up and take me down
Yeah,
south.
we got airports.
I'm 10 minutes from PVD Airport, right? I can meet you over there. Awesome. Nelson.
Yeah, no.
Whenever you guys want, come over here, man.
Before I go to any questions, I just want to say, like, something Joe and I talk about all the time on the show. Well, I don't know all the time, but enough is how you got to get in front of the smokers. You got to get in front of the consumer, and I think it's great that you guys are doing those dinners. I mean, it's just you can't just let it sit on the shelf. You just can't.
No.
Right? You got to get in front of them, and even to your point, you don't necessarily have to talk about cigars. It's just that connection that you're making the consumer. That's freaking great, man.
Yeah, man.
We talked earlier about the dinners, and then I think Joe alluded to retailers getting together, talking about things, and it actually triggered a question for me going back to the factories down in Honduras. Did you guys get together, the factories and the farms, to talk about how to deal with the pandemic? Did that happen at all?
Okay, so I'm just gonna be very open with you guys. So when we were when everything hit, right, there was no cases in Honduras in Danlí. So at that moment we were like, okay,
You're good.
The government shut everything down, right? So we even had some military come and say you can't work anymore, close everything down. That moment, Sandra Ochoa, which is like the general manager of the factory, rolled up their sleeve again, right? And she did a project that included a book of how to run the factory, how the specifications have to work. So she literally measured everything to be according to code. We were apparently chosen to be like the leading company on how to do or how to beat COVID or how to go with the rules.
Mm-hmm.
So we were very proud with that. Every worker has a spot to work. They're not working together like they usually do.
Mm-hmm.
They are very separated from each other. They literally have like 6 feet from all the direction. Everywhere you go in the factory, we build new facilities so they can be separated. And now everybody is working with a team specifically, and they're doing one thing at a time. They're all working together, but everybody's in a separate area. Everybody is covered. with their their masks. They have actually the soap that we have. I didn't know this because I washed my hands and I'm like, hey man, I'm not getting any foam out of this soap. What kind of cheap soap is this? But they told me, wait, no cheap soap here. This is actually a soap that is given us by Bayer Science, which has everything special to it's pretty much what they use in when they are gonna do surgeries or when doctors are gonna use their hands to a patient.
Yep.
It has the right things to kill every bacteria or everything that you don't need in your hands. So they have a special soap, and every day in the morning there's a doctor. First of all, there's a doctor on the premises, so there's a doctor there in case someone feels some kind of something. Someone is always there to check them out. And then in the mornings, everybody gets checked. Not only with the little thermometer, but they also get checked with like a rhythm, heart rhythm, because the doctor explained to me that, if there's also something going on inside, it's already like telling them this guy is probably gonna get sick or something's happening in their body. So these guys are ahead. They know what they're doing. And they're doing it so everybody at work feels safe.
Yeah, if you monitor,
the environment.
Go ahead.
The environment at the factory, it's very clean. You feel really safe walking in there. You have to wear masks constantly, but you feel safe. I mean, everybody there, it's working happily. Man, this is what the Honduran people wanted. I mean, a lot of people want to say, hey, let them stay at home. But these guys, all they do is work. That's what they know how to do. And we're proud of them. They wake up at 4 a.m. That's another thing. They wake up at 4 a.m. so they can wait for a van that is disinfected when it comes to pick them up. And then when it gets to the factory, it gets disinfected again. Right. So it goes and pick up on other people. It gets disinfected again. Now, I'm telling you guys, we're on top of everything. So every cigar that we make, it's clean.
Yep.
So you wrote the book on dealing with the pandemic, basically.
Well, they actually did, because if you follow
Sandra Ochoa did. Yeah.
If you follow C.L.E. Cigars or Christian Aroa himself on Facebook, like, he's filmed this 15-30-second documentary, like snippets on this on social media, where I could even go as far as saying, like, they have like a break time. I don't know if it's every hour, but it has a cadence to it where they get up and just wash their hands to, in line for their groups, just because it's just time to do that. So they've totally changed. Not saying that they didn't wash their hands before, right. but what's like, it's like every hour, every 2 hours, whatever it is, just because you have to do that. And I actually have that stuff, that medical stuff, in my backpack that I walk around with. If you see me locally, I'm always carrying a freaking, like, a military grade backpack, right?
True story.
And in there is that stuff, because my significant other works in the hospital, and that stuff is freaking, because she makes fun of this stuff over here, right? The people who I buy pomade from. Oh, you have the C.L.E., but the people I buy pomades, I buy so much pomade that they ship me freaking hand sanitizer during COVID, nice. Right? So I'm just like, all right. She's like, why do you use that crap? Use the stuff I give you. This and that. I'm like, I use the stuff you give you, but that stuff, like, freaking, like, it makes my hands like whiter and white. You know what I mean?
I want the C.L.E. stuff. You can use that for surgeries.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man.
Right. So but if you follow Christian on Facebook, on social media, you'll get that. And I was seeing that there. I saw a couple of pictures of you guys in the airplane. I thought they were past pictures, actually, like from I thought because how people like reminisce, like they post a picture of them like in a crowded football game, and people are so crazy on social media. What are you doing at a football game with all those people? What freaking place is open with football people? Like, where are you? Freaking, are you on Mars? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, it's so funny to watch, to be a fly on the wall for social media and working in the cybersecurity field. It's pretty obvious. You know what I mean? It's like people.
Man, we would put before everything happened, we would put like other pictures. We have so much content that we're putting it for people, and then we would get comments like, "Hey guys, come on, these guys are not washing their hands." Hey man, so we would have to go and be like, "Hey, this was before the pandemic." Hey man, this was before the.
Yeah.
But hey man, you just gotta inform people what is it that we're doing and where are we. But trust me, everything that we do, it's for the best of everyone.
Right.
I mean, we
Right.
think about the consumer all the time.
Yep, like the biggest Facebook scam ever is take a picture of yourselves and we'll tell you what you look like 30 years from now. Okay, so you take a picture of yourself, you enter an email address, a birthday, with a profile and a facial recognition of yourself. Like all they need is a freaking address and they can get your social.
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And chances are your Facebook profile will say that you reside in this town. So now you do a Google search for the town, you find the number. You can now start genius, right? Genius move right there, right?
Joe just gave out the formula for identity fraud.
I'm just saying, I'm just saying, you know. And the funny thing is, honestly, because other than Stogie Geeks, in my duties here at Security Weekly, over at Security Weekly, I hear 7 other shows that are just like this, and only not Cigar Security, and I'm like, these guys really. I'm like, yeah, because now you have a database of names and emails with birthdays, exact birthdays.
Oh yeah,
In a town you live in, and I'm like, wow, like that's kind of scary, very scary.
yeah, it is. It is.
You should all sign. So if you are a Stogie Geek listener and you took a picture of what you would look like in 30 years, you should probably monitor all of your checking accounts 4 years from now.
Absolutely.
It's just funny. So what?
Hey guys, so
what's
what
going
do you
on?
think of the Zoom thing now? Because it used to be a different
The what?
ways to do it, no? But now with everything happening, Zoom took over.
Oh, Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Zoom is
Uh,
huge. I wish I invested in it last year.
This is a sensitive subject, right? You mean like
Oh,
Zoom?
wow.
No. You mean like Zoom for meetings, or Zoom and now I have a cigar podcast? which conversation you want to have? Because I'm prepared to have both, right?
Listen, no.
Right? I'm prepared to have both, right? Right, you know.
I'm gonna tell you when we started to when this thing hit, Christian told me, hey, you know what? Let's start doing Zooms, right?
Yep.
Let's invite people and
Yep.
and let's just, maybe there's people out there that need to hear, or we just, it started by being us, just the team. And then Christian is like, you know what? Invite everybody, man. If somebody wants to come and hear us talk, you know, let them hear us. So we did. We did probably like, what is it? Maybe 10 little shows every Friday, every Wednesdays and Fridays. I think we were doing them. And I mean, the crowd that we were getting was like very little crowd.
Sure.
Then one day I decided to really go out and about and then really, you know, tell people that we're doing this. And so I sent an invitation to everybody. I really didn't know how to use it, right?
Yeah.
But I left my screen to share, and I didn't know how to use it. So when we were having a really good time, all of a sudden, I guess this group of kids went in the chat room, man, and they started to put pornography all over the place. Man, I had to turn that thing off,
no.
but we had a really good time, man, because, you know, we're all cigar smokers. We're not going to take offense on this. But man, when we went back to the chat to, like, you know, I had to cancel everybody out. I had to remove people. I had to accept people again. And then the names, sometimes I didn't understand them. They're like huge anus, and dude, it was a mess. But it was really funny the way it happened. Everybody was laughing, but it took me a while to learn. Now the other thing that you're saying right now, yeah, man, a lot of people are gonna use this platform to create a new thing.
You know, Raul, I do have an answer for both. Okay, if you rewind time and get rid of COVID, when I first met you, that's the platform that you and I were trying to put together for Christian, right? I was telling you that we do this in cybersecurity field all the time. We could certainly do it's called a webinar, and come meet Christian, where, you know, the Stogie Geek listener would sign up and then do that there and then do the webinar. And then, you know, now C.L.E. now has their name and email. They can go and market to people, give them updates and all of that stuff there. You know, you and I were creatively trying to put that back together back in 2018, and then it got crazy, and then the timing wasn't right, and then you brought it to Christian's attention, and we didn't end up doing it, and then now fast forward with there. I think that format is very important, but I think an element missing of all these new podcasts that have sprouted out. Now, I'm not talking about you, a company. If you, a company, wants to do a come meet Christian and do a Zoom and all that stuff, that's called utilizing your resources. But you have to watch out for the ramifications of people getting into the Zoom, doing that, how it's going to be produced and whatnot. When you look at a podcast, a true cigar podcast, right? There's a team that is behind Nelson and I on screen and you on screen, and if Drew was here, Drew on screen, and if anything that orchestrates. It's kind of like if you're putting on a play, right? So you're putting on a show, a live show, right? And then we're live, so there's a platform. And then at the end of the day, if Facebook ever gets rid of tobacco, alcohol, or firearms officially, right? Mm-hmm. All that data is going to go away. Now, if Facebook gets rid of that, or YouTube, or whichever, Stogie Geeks and other podcasts, not all of them, but other podcasts will continue to exist. So it's a two-part problem. I love it that you guys, hey, if you can't be in brick and mortar stores, have a Zoom meeting. Absolutely. Full disclosure, I had Noel Rojas on the show from Rojas Cigars, right? And he's going. And I said, listen, I know 2 cigar shop owners that I think they should be introduced to your portfolio. I'm not trying to sell for you. Just send me some samples. I'll give it to them. Can I give them your cell phone number? Yes. Why? He's much smaller than you guys, right? So it's different. If I walk into a brick and mortar and say, have you heard about C.L.E. or Asylum? They're going to be like, dude, what planet are you from, right? It's just different. But again, it was a smaller, and I'm a fan of the brand. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to my 2 favorite shops, introduce them to them, give them a couple of sticks. If they like it, that's a deal between them. But here's the deal. Now that with COVID, when they're in, he's going to do a Zoom meeting instead of like an event. You know how you go to an event and you do all of that, and it's just so that's utilizing your resources. I think it's great for you guys. For the podcasts that have coming out, I mean, it's crazy because like we have a commercial format in there. All they are Facebook Live recordings over a Zoom meeting. Now, they're utilizing their resources, and as they get bigger, if they become bigger podcasts, they're going to realize that it's a production. Like, we have a production engineer, him, Johnny. It's a whole orchestrated event here for some of the bigger podcasts, and it's not bigger as far as bigger, whichever. It's just, the idea. And there's Johnny right Johnny there, and Gustavo, like you know what I mean, like we got 2 people switching us all around, making sure we sound good, making sure it's there. And by the way, like 10 minutes before we went live, they were producing another podcast in the cybersecurity field, like right before. So they come and they got to clean and do all of this stuff, and they have their work to do. It's a whole team, and I think the awareness of all these new podcasts is super cool, right? Because it's great to build awareness for that, but it's like everything else. It's kind of like the small guy who says, well, I'm going to start my own cigar company, and then realizes like, wow, this is hard, or whichever, right? It's the same. It's the same aspect where if you're a small cigar company, you're against you, Arturo Fuente, Davidoff, or Camacho, and let alone online. But I think it's great for the industry for them to do it, and I think that if they think that they're gonna, when are they gonna make the switch? Because all of their data resides on Facebook, and it should be resided on their own platform. And to build your own platform like we have, I mean, like look at Stogie Geeks. It's 15 years, not Stogie Geeks itself, but Paul Azadorian, who founded Stogie Geeks, his business model started 15 years ago. So for you to bring in podcasts and come in there to the extent that we do, you're going to have to hire some full-time people. But for you to use Zoom to have people meet Christian, I think it's super cool.
You know, talking about the online platform, actually, I want to give some props to Raul and Christian. So I was going through your site over the last few days, and I have to say, as far as a brand, I'm not going to name other names. I won't do that. But your site, your C.L.E. site, is actually one of the best I've seen, because I could get not only can I get information about sticks, I can buy the sticks. It was phenomenal. Yes. And normally you just see, here's the sticks, no idea how to buy them.
Yeah.
No communicate, nothing, no help at all.
Well, again, Raul, and correct me if I'm wrong, time-wise, you're like, what, 4 years, 3 years deep into this position?
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years deep into this position. And Christian realizes, like, hey, man, I got to have a full-time person on this stuff. And that's what he does. Like,
is that you, Raul, the site?
Yes, sir. Yes.
It's fantastic. See, I didn't even know that. So
Hold on for a second. I got to smack Nelson around. We were introduced to the goddamn marketing coordinator.
I was the webmaster. I have no idea.
Rookies.
And we have a good team, man. Look, let me show you guys, just so you know a little bit of what we're doing right now.
Oh, yeah,
things.
Yeah, Raul does this all the time. Show and tell, old school. Please do. Yeah,
Pandemonium.
I saw that today next door over at the Havana Cigar Shop. I saw that today. And he's like, we should smoke this on the show. I says, he ain't on that long. That thing's like 8.5 by what? It's eight.
What is that?
It's the Pandemonium by Asylum. Look at it.
Well, we have three different ones. 8.5
Look at
by 17.
Come on.
8.5 by 16.
Come on.
The next door,
and
Nelson.
8.5 by 52. Man, it's a really amazing cigar right now. It's one of our amazing performers. It's a sweet cigar. I mean, it's strong as you go, but it's very sweet to smoke. And I'm gonna send you guys some samples so you guys can definitely enjoy them.
Awesome.
And let me know what you guys think, man.
You know what that is? That's a wife avoidance cigar,
dude.
That's what that is.
Like honestly, you know, like, okay, you know, someone says, I only want you smoking one cigar today. Okay, you pick that one. That's the one. That's the one you pick.
We call it the one simple trick.
Yeah,
that's it.
If you smoke that cigar on your 23rd birthday, you'll be 24. Yeah. By the time.
One simple trick.
That's great.
Swipe up. One simple trick.
Right.
Right there.
Doctors hate this.
Yep.
One simple trick. Increase your smoking size.
Doctor,
right there, man.
Doctor, you know,
I only smoke one a day.
I only smoke one a day. Like, you know, it's 8 inches long, but you know, 8.5 inches. But anyway, yeah.
I'm not touching that.
Let me tell you another thing.
Thank you.
When I was here last time.
Yeah.
When I was here last time, I gave I gave you guys like a little thing that it was something like this. What's in the box? What's in the box? I don't know if you remember this, but it was like I was trying to tell you that we were gonna do a cigar called Seven. You know, from the movie Seven.
Yes, I remember that. Yep.
So we did 7 right last year, and that cigar it's really good. It's like the anniversary of Asylum.
Yep.
And we did a very limited quantities, and it was very good. People are like started to. The thing with these cigars, man, is that you come up with them, and people don't know them, and then all of a sudden you're talking about them, and some stores have them. People smoke them. This is more of a celebration cigar that the people that smoke Asylum cigars, they're like, man, I'm looking for a nice celebration cigar, yet Asylum, you know, and I'm willing to pay a little extra for it. So we made 7 for this type of people, and it was a very good success. And now people are asking for 7, but then now we are
Show and tell. I love it.
And this cigar is about to come in.
Is that the 8? There it is.
Yeah.
So we're already in 8.
Nice.
And this is coming at the beginning of November, if I'm not mistaken. So you can look for them in your stores. And this is Asylum 8. I already had the cigar. It's a fantastic cigar.
Of course, not a small one.
Gonna enjoy them.
Nah, it's Asylum.
7 by 70.
We're smoking the smallest one by Asylum, right?
We have 2 sizes. We have the 1118, which Christian calls it a pregnant Toro, right? And then we have the 70 by 7.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna show you the cigar because we're still working on it. But for C.L.E., Christian is celebrating his 25 years in the industry.
That's
and
crazy.
We're coming out with C.L.E. 25 anniversary.
Nice.
Oh,
and
wow.
This cigar is also
heard it here.
promised to be an excellent cigar, like everything that Christian comes out with. And this is going to be for the C.L.E. line.
When do you anticipate that coming out?
this cigar probably the beginning of next year.
Nice.
We just didn't really want to launch both at the same time.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we did with Eiroa Dark and Eiroa Hamastran. And when we did that, people were like, well, which one should I go for? And then I don't know if you had it, but the Eiroa Darks right now are like the hottest cigar,
dude.
man. And really, this cigar is something that if you see it in the store, just buy it.
Is that the one with the gray label?
It's a limited. Yes.
Can you open it up? It's got a gray label as opposed to the red label.
Oh, well, this one is empty, man.
No,
This
okay.
one, I don't have anything yet.
I'm calling you out. Right? No,
Just a nice box.
no, the dark. No, because correct me if I'm wrong. You've had two of availabilities in that line, right? And the darker one is amazing. I could not get off that stick. The darker one. The lighter one was good, but the darker one was like, oh my god, it goes with everything. It goes with red wine, like a thick Cabernet or a Melback red wine if you want to do that. I know Stogie Geeks, that sounds crazy, but you should really, especially in the fall months. Now, if you live in South Florida, I'm sorry. There's no fall, right? But like but like right now it's getting, so you have like a really heavy bodied red wine with that is awesome. Bloody Mary
it's
for
awesome.
sure.
Of course.
Right? It came in two different lines, right? With that.
Well, like I said, we did the Hamastran, right? And then we did the dark, Eiroa Dark. We launched two Eiroas at the same time. But the dark came out very strong. Now people are asking for the Hamastran. The thing is that when you release something at the same time, people don't know which one. Hey, should I go for this or this?
Sure.
I think we didn't leave enough space for people to be like, all right, we had this. Now let me try this. You know? So now that's what we're doing. We're trying to make sure that we launch right, and then we launch what people really want. And then right now, like we launch 8 first, which I know people are like, man, we had it online, and we're doing our everything like the pre-launch. And we can already see people saying, I want to try it. Where can I find it? Oh, I'm already smoking 7. I really like it. I can't wait to have the 8. And I'm telling you guys, 8 is going to be a fantastic cigar for you guys to try and to celebrate.
Looking forward to
cigar,
it.
Man.
Awesome. Yeah. And then you got the 25th, which is coming out after that.
That after that, yes, the 25th is going to be. And we have 2 more relaunches, but we are not sure yet. But that's for next year. After that, we're not doing anything else.
Relaunch. I'm trying to guess. A relaunch under C.L.E. or Asylum?
We're doing both.
Okay.
A relaunch. And actually, I have something really good, man. I should not be talking about this.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should.
It's actually... No, I'm going to say it now.
You're on Stogie Geeks. You have to talk about it. I don't have a plane, but I'll be there in 24 hours.
Oh, man, Christian had a really amazing idea, and he's actually putting the salespeople... They're competing against each other. So we have the C.L.E. team and we have the Asylum team. Yep. And they are actually the ones that are going to relaunch the cigars. So they're coming up with logos, new logos, if that's what they want.
Sure.
They're coming out with, sizes. What sizes do you think? So it's actually the salespeople.
You're leaving it up to the team.
Come up with a cigar for the people. So it's interesting, man. It's a relaunch, but we're going to see it's from our best cigars, from 2 of our best cigars from that line. Or the cigars that people really don't know, because we have in the collection, like you see behind me, there's a few cigars that people really do not know. And I've noticed in this trip when Christian was selling a few of these cigars, he would talk about them, and I would be like, man, where is that cigar right now? I want to try it. It's Christian talking about his cigars, man. And it sounded like it's caramel. It's like sweet. Where is it, man? I want to try it. And when I tried after hearing his conversation, I was like, man, I never paid attention to this cigar, man. I mean, I'm going to give you an example. The signature, like I said, it's one of them. Mm-hmm. This cigar, it's for the cigar smoker that knows cigars, man. And if they want to try something that it's, something different, something that comes out in a different way. And this cigar has that experience, man. And I'm telling you, when he mentioned that, and at the beginning, it was his private stash. And the reason why it didn't came out really strong is because Christian wanted to release this cigar with no band, with nothing. It was more of a boutique cigar. It was more of a, hey guys, if you really want to try something out of the ordinary, try this cigar. And man, I really never tried it. I always saw it like it's just another cigar. But when I had it, after hearing him talking about the cigar constantly, man, it's become one of my favorite cigars because of that
Experience.
It's only the thing that you taste when you know C.L.E. cigars.
Yeah.
It's that Honduran flavor. That's that Corojo taste, man. So amazing.
Yep. You know Nick from Churchill's, right?
Yep.
Okay. So Nick, a guy from Churchill's, one of the cigar lounges that we frequent a lot, goes, "Hey, Jojo, this happened like 2 weeks ago. Jojo, I got this cigar. You gotta try this and that." He gives me the C.L.E. Corojo, and I'm like, "Dude, you're like sold like 3 years ago, bro." Like, you know what I mean? Like you know, but you know what's crazy? This is a lesson learned, right?
Yeah.
He found out about the C.L.E. Criollo from Alandino. So
Interesting.
yeah, so it was like one of those things where he tried Alandino, found out who he was, this, that, and the other thing, and then he's like, "Oh wow!" He's like, "Well, there's," and like he's now into this whole C.L.E. kick, and I'm like, "You should." I was like, "Okay, strike one. You don't watch my show because we've had C.L.E. on multiple times, right?
Yeah.
You know, we've had them on, and he's like, I didn't realize like they were that like really that big, and I'm like, do you realize who he was before C.L.E. was around? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's crazy, and that's why it's just one of those things. And now he's a Stogie Geeks listener. So hi, Nick. Right, he says he listens now, so you know it's like he's like you get that.
Good job, man.
You know, and I'm just like, hey, so now I have one listener, actually two, my mom, so that's good. Right, so you know,
My wife listens.
oh, three, right? We're doing good. We're up to three.
We're
right?
doing good. We're doing good. Yeah.
Johnny and Gustavo 5, so we're doing good. We're doing perfect, right? So yeah, so you know, it's one of those things where and that I think is so important because even by the time it gets to the brick and mortar where you did your dinners for, you have a lot of bands within your profile, but I think you have just the right amount. You don't have too many, right? And you know, you don't have too many where it's like, oh, they're coming out with another one, they're coming out with another one.
Yeah.
You have just the right amount. You're trying to, you know, switch the cadence as to when you release them and all of that type stuff, and I think that that's super important too. And the fact that you're not like, we're gonna wait till July like everyone else does to release it. Just release it. Just release it and let the people go out there and try to find it. I want to take a couple minutes to talk about this. We're smoking. By the way, when I went next door and they were like, "Hey, we just got a bunch of C.L.Es," and I'm like, "Oh, that's crazy," because I'm interviewing them today. And they're like, "No kidding." I was like, "Yeah." He showed me the pandemonium, and I'm like, "Okay, the show's not going to be that long." So we're not talking that. Then he brought out this here, the Asylum 13 Corojo, which is a 50 by 5. This is a great stick.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
This is but this stick is almost leaving your mouth dry enough to want more.
So I didn't know you got it next door, and now that I know that, when the show's done, I'm going to go over and get some.
Dude, wait to see the price. It's like, oh my God, like this is like crazy. They're awesome. They're so strategically priced. They're super cool. They're leveraged. Now, they do have the bigger version, the quote unquote typical Asylum version, but these are freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like these are so good.
Great notes.
I bullet cut this as I usually do most of my cigars, but it's leaving me with like a dryness, but it's lingering on my palate to make me want more. Is that?
I killed mine already. It's done.
Sure. Oh, you're already on?
Oh, yeah. I'm on.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on number 2.
He's 3. He's
I'm gonna tell you something, Joe. I wish we could do the going back to Honduras. We used to do these programs where we take people to Honduras and try the cigars there, from the factory.
Yep.
And what you're saying right now with Corojo, I had this conversation with Christian too, because, man, we were just in Honduras maybe a month ago. And it's always a hassle to get cigars from there because they're very careful on what they give to the people. So we called earlier and we're like, hey, man, we're getting there. So can we have a few cigars of this, a few cigars of that? And they had the cigars for us when we got there. So I started smoking, right, man. And I'm telling you, I was going 4 cigars a day, like nothing, and I was going one after another one. I would wake up in the morning wanting a coffee and a Corojo cigar right away, man.
Yep.
And I didn't get it. It was in my mouth. It was like in the back of my throat. And I came to Christian. I'm like, yo, let me ask you a question, man. What is this? What do they have? Like, I'm craving it. He goes, that's what the Corojo does when it's factory fresh. It's like it creates an addiction, man. The taste stays in your mouth. It's Corojo, man.
Yep.
So that's what you're trying. That's what you're tasting, man.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is that Tobacconist University tells you that you get 5 flavors from your palate. That's it. Cocoa and freaking unicorn freaking hair and blah and this and that and leather and all of that stuff. No, I'm just saying, right? They're adjectives. They're adjectives, right? Saying, wow, I can taste leather, right? Now, in order for you to taste leather, let's be honest, right? You have to suck on your leather belt. Okay?
Does it really taste like that?
Right. And then they go, but we have visuals, right? We say this when we smoke Davidoff. We say it's like that Davidoff hay, that earthiness, whichever, right? When you're talking Corojo, right? It's like staple of one of the 5 flavors, right?
Yes.
Of the 5 components, and that's called umami, right? Where you're like. And I'm only doing the sucking thing because 60% of our audience listens to it on audio. So I have to cater to both audiences, right? So when you're like, man, shit, like it's like you have a steak, right? It's been seared, and you have the end, and you're like, you have the steak, and then whatever used for spices, the pepper, and like it just goes on the side of your tongue, and your body says, holy shit, I want another bite now, right?
Yes.
That is what authentic Corojo does to you.
Exactly.
It's like you're like, holy crap, I want this now. And then and this is how I rate cigars, right? So and I'm only speaking for myself, I'm not speaking for Nelson or Drew or previous Stogie Geeks host, right? But when I go, holy shit, I want more, it gets a freaking higher rating. Like, you know, if I'm like, oh man, you know, this is pretty good. You know what I mean? Oh, the story's good. You know, you got to go seek in your car, go get the story because it's a unicorn stick and blah, blah, blah. You know, okay, it gets a box split with a friend because it's an experience. But like Corojo is like, we're going to see a lot of movements. This is a Stogie Geeks prediction, which prediction number 1 I'm about to say already had come true. I've been saying this for like the past year, is we're going to see a lot more complex Connecticut's. In other words, we say Connecticut using it as an adjective, meaning a lighter wrapper, and a lighter wrapper is going to have more complex flavor than, and the reason being, just at a very basic level, is when you have a Connecticut wrapper, i.e. a lighter shade, and then you throw a Nicaraguan component in there, well, guess what? Boom. It's going to be spicy. As opposed to the traditional Nicaraguan, traditional Connecticut Dominican, right? And there are a lot of good Dominican cigars out there, right? Second prediction here is Corojo, done correctly, makes you wanting more.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
And it makes me want more than the Habano wrapper. Now, I love my Habano Nicaraguan combos. They have their place, but the Corojo is like, it's like succulent, like a steak. And that's what I get off of this. Now again, please note, Stogie Geeks, if you go get the Asylum 13 Corojo and you get it in a bigger ring gauge, because of the components of the cigar, you might not get that succulent taste.
It's gonna be different.
You gotta veer off of the bigger ring gauge, try the 5x50, and you will not be disappointed.
You will not be disappointed.
Size matters in cigars.
Yes.
Size matters.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
Size matters,
It's like,
but you're right. The draw. I've smoked cigars that they're 54, and the draw is completely different. And the flavor comes out different, and it's interesting how the size does matter.
This is my visual. Okay, when I exhale, it takes all of the negative out of my body, and it injects my brain and say, I want more Corojo. It's crazy. Like, were you getting that? Like, it's crazy.
What I tell, I'm gonna go next door. And
Yeah,
get more when I'm done.
it's completely crazy.
No question.
And I've never had one of these till today. This exactly one.
I promise you guys, I'm gonna try my best to find you some factory fresh from Honduras. I'm sending you guys this so you can try, and you're gonna tell me the same thing. Like, that Corojo, man, sticks in your palate, man. It's just it's umami, like you said.
Let me ask you this.
Flavor.
Let me ask you this question. This is kind of like a level up, and I am digging here, right?
Right.
What's the difference between like a C.L.E. Corojo and an Asylum Corojo? Like it's like the Asylum Corojo, the C.L.E. Corojo is good. Don't get me wrong, right?
Right.
But I don't know why. Like, what is in this cigar that's making me like go bonkers for it? And I like the C.L.E. Corojo. But if I had a choice, C.L.E. Corojo or the Aroa Doc, I'm going with the Aroa Doc because the Aroa Doc has that same component of that umami where you're like you really want more. Like it's crazy. So what's the differences? Can you explain that to us?
Okay, so for the C.L.E. line, we have Corojo, Habano, and Connecticut. They all have the same body, just different wrapper, right? And that right there is going to be your experience because they have the same body, different wrapper. Then you're gonna be like, okay, so this is very mild. Yet it's a very I call it like a cigar so you can enjoy a game. It's calm. But if you smoke an Asylum, it's gonna have a more kick to it, and that's because the Asylum smoker likes that kick to it. It's willing to go for a little more power, and that's what you're getting. The Asylum is always gonna give you that profile of a little more power to it, and that's what we use. A Corojo that is a little more, I don't want to say fermented, but more cured, so you have a different taste, a little more kick to it, and the body is completely different too. So you're gonna have more kick to it.
So in the actual making of the cigar, compared to C.L.E. to Asylum, even though they're under the same corporate umbrella, the richer nutrient Corojo should be found in the Asylum. Is that what
you find both, right?
Okay.
But yeah, one is a little milder than the other one.
Yeah. Cool. All right. It's not just me. I'm very selfish sometimes. I ask these questions because I want to know. Like, probably only me wants to know. But I'm like, what? This is what I'm getting the difference, which is a great test to my palate. You know what I mean? But I'm super cool that you gave us that answer. Nelson, you have a question?
Honestly, Raul, you answered pretty much all of my questions.
Oh, Raul always does.
He jumped ahead, but I do have one more. When are you coming to New England? Because we definitely want to sit down with you, smoke a stick, have a cocktail.
It looks like he's frozen. So while he fixes that on his end, that's a good question. When are you going to fly down and pick us up?
Right?
Bring us to Honduras.
Talk to Christian.
Bring us down there. Yeah. He'll figure out that he's been frozen. But to keep the show going, as I'm smoking this Corojo, I'm like, this to me is box worthy all day. Like, completely.
Yeah. Listen, Stogie Geeks.
Completely, like,
selfishly, the reason I love this show is not only I get to hang out with Joe and learn more shit from Joe, but I get exposed to new sticks. I had never had the Corojo from Asylum, and I love it. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I've had the bigger version,
and it is box worthy, by the way.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like all day.
I can't afford a box, so I'm gonna buy a few.
Like crazy. No, actually, you could. It's crazy.
Oh, he's back. Raul's back.
Yeah. He knows the drill.
Raul, when you coming up to New England so we can smoke a stick?
Oh man, I wish I could go sooner than later, man. We'll hope this next year we go again, man.
Awesome.
Outstanding.
Awesome.
Definitely visit you guys.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
I mean, so far that's it. I mean, we
that's enough. You've been doing good. You guys have been busy.
No other secrets you want to reveal?
Nah, you revealed enough.
It's just between us, honestly.
It's only 5 people listening to the show, so you're good. You're good. So you're good. You're good. No, awesome. Yeah. What are your thoughts of like like it's like, you know, you've obviously learned how to pivot, and like, what are your thoughts industry wise? Take off your C.L.E. hat now, okay? So full disclaimer, Christian, he's gonna talk about the industry now. Like, what are your thoughts about like 2021 is gonna be an interesting year. Number one, if we all have some sort of a vaccine and we can all go back to trade shows, or more importantly, without trade shows or with or without trade shows, like going back to like a normal, I use that here in quotes, right?
Right.
Going back to our normal like lives, like what do you think industry wise? Like what's gonna, you know, if we can all fly back and then go there, like what do you think? My first prediction is that once you fast forward, we realize that, like, say we get vaccinated or people take it and trade shows are for like a norm again, they're gonna be packed.
Oh yeah.
Like people are gonna be flying
They're
around.
craving it.
Like people are gonna be like flying like cruise ships, like Carnival or Royal Caribbean or
It's gonna
whatever.
blow up.
Like it's like people are gonna travel again and do that. It's gonna be an interesting time. And I'm fast forwarding for a minute, and it may be latter 2021 by the time we all can, you know, go and do this. But it's going to be an interesting time, volume wise, of us being home and all the brand awareness efforts that have gone over Zoom and all of that stuff and different podcasts and there. Like, it's going to be a fun time to be in any industry that there, not only like the premium cigar industry, but it's going to be super cool. That's my prediction.
Well,
like it's going to be like crazy busy.
I feel that we're gonna see that growth as well, and I think that the people that are putting more efforts right now, or since the pandemic started, right, and they're giving 110%. These guys are the ones that are going to reap what they sow, right?
Yep.
So, man, I could see it earlier in a different industry. The people that, you know, said, all right, I'm not going to stay here and wait until something happens. I'm going to make something happen on myself or for the people that work with me. And, you know, we're all going to move together. And these are the people that right now are ahead on the game. And I saw this in the industry too, man. Who is on board? Who is actually putting the work right now? And the people that are putting the work right now are the ones that are going to stay, man. Stay strong, or they're going to go like that. Whoop.
Yep.
You know, some people are going to stay down, some people are going to close, and it is what it is, man. I think this thing also is cleaning, and I'm sorry to say it like that, but this is really who's showing who's the man and who's the boy, you know? So, so whoever is really, you know, putting the work and really making it professional, you're going to see it. You're going to see it, and these people are going to do very, very good, and then you're going to see who didn't do the homework, man. And I think that we are doing beyond and above for everybody else, and like I said, everybody, the team, it's aligned. It's been a while since I think Christian could say this, but his team is very aligned, and we know what we need to do, and everybody's on board, man. Even with everything happening, you know, it's not only COVID, it's everything happening. We're all on top of it, you know, and we're working hard, man. Some of us, we haven't even taken vacations because we are like on top of the business, and we're making sure that we leave everything ready for next year. And I feel that next year we're gonna do very good. And like I said, if you're really putting the work, you're gonna get it.
Yeah, Joe talks all the time about, you know, the business model and pivoting, and I think that doesn't come into play more than it does this year, right? 2020 pandemic. And I would argue, and I don't have any statistics to back this up, but I think the cigar popularity has increased in 2020. But at the same time, obviously, you know, brands are struggling and trying to pivot, right, to understand how they're going to come out of this. But you're spot on in that if you're not planning for 2021, you're gonna see who the men are, or who the boys are. You're absolutely right. You got to be able to pivot and move on with your business. You got to change your business model to deal with current COVID and go post COVID.
You have to. I mean, there are some products that are just in my business that I'm never going to offer anymore. Like just because the way COVID had hit,
You're pivoting.
It's never, never. And I'm like, okay, I gotta. So then I pull my QuickBooks and figure out how much that revenue is and how am I gonna replace that revenue in 2021 and catch up. And you never really do catch up, but catch up from the pivot movement of what am I gonna offer now. So
yeah, if you keep trying to do what you're currently doing, cookie cutter,
it's not gonna work.
Hey, right, exactly. It's working. It's been working. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. You're done.
Yep.
You're not going to survive.
Yep. Awesome. One more question before I let you go. Okay.
Sure.
Hot topic that's going to come up, and it's been coming up in September. I made a prediction back here on Stogie Geeks in March that it was going to be October, November. It was going to be extremely bad. The question of inventory.
Okay.
How are you guys with inventory?
I'm gonna tell you this. We have the guy that just showed up right now,
Yep.
Mr. Tyler Ravenstein, has done an amazing job, man. Like
Yep.
I'm telling you, we had a little problems, but man, we push and the way Christian has everything, the way that we also sold it in the dinner series, man, he made it to where yes, there's going to be back order, but
Sure.
we can handle it, right?
Yep.
And we've handled it pretty well. We got cigars coming every week, every month. Everything is it's going out, so everybody's getting their cigars. Inventory is coming. Tyler did an amazing job on making sure that whenever we needed something, everything is already on the way.
Mm-hmm.
So the first batch, we already knew, hey man, we're not gonna do good. Wait, I already ordered it. Don't worry about it. It's coming. So and he's really on people from Nicaragua, even though Nicaragua struggle so much.
Yep.
Man, we are a little bit behind, but it's nothing crazy. It's nothing like, oh man, we've done work. No, we are just a little bit behind, but nothing crazy, nothing that we cannot say. Oh, you want to say something? Please say something. Yeah. Wait, let me just. I'm gonna have the experience.
All right, sure. I love
Special guest appearance.
Nah, hey, what's up?
Sorry, I'm 85 years old.
Technology.
See, Raul and I are pretty intimate, so like.
Make sure you sit down
Yeah,
so we can
can't
see you. Sit down.
Oh yeah, no, don't. You get to see my ripped. You get to see my ripped abs. I'll do some bad, man.
What's up, man?
So, dude, I'm Tyler. I'm the.
Hey, Tyler.
Hey, Tyler.
I'm the back order lightning rod.
Okay.
So imagine like I have the blessing and the curse to sit next to Christian every day.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I've been here for 7 years, and it's like that the training scene from Bloodsport.
Yes.
I pretty much get my ass beat every day, it seems. But you know what? Right now, I'm sitting in the chair. The punch comes. I'm able to my blindfold on. But no, dude. So it was interesting, the supply chain thing, right?
Yep.
Because we started seeing this thing coming, and dude, when was it? Like, it was like in March, April, whenever the Honduran government came to Dan Lee, and they just started knocking on factory doors, saying, "Yo, you got to close down the factories." The president of Orlando just put in a thing saying stopping all manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine we were almost 2 months without production out of Honduras, and it just happened to be that we.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we just lost the feed.
No, it's South Florida. It's South Florida internet. It's South Florida internet.
Spectrum.
Raul will figure it out, and he'll jump back on. And after that, Johnny, we're gonna wrap up the segment. But definitely, he'll figure it out. He'll dial back.
Hey,
There he is. Go for it.
Tyler's back.
All right. So like in Nicaragua, I can't speak for the other manufacturing operations, but we use NACSA, right?
Yep.
That's the people, they make a Psalm 13, Schizo, Chile Brigueto. But, we were finding that, they put in the same, Bayer measures as we did. They had the little spray with the Vicron, things like that, to disinfect everybody, the mask and the temperature things. But, imagine if you had a little factory in Nicaragua or Honduras, you had to be 2 meters apart. So imagine, you had a little itty-bitty factory and you couldn't do it. You couldn't comply with the laws, and the government just kind of said, "Hey, we're not letting you open back up."
Wow.
So we have a reasonable size operation, but we had to expand that thing to almost 2 city blocks in Honduras because everybody had to be 2 meters apart, like rollers, not pairs, but like one roller's here, the other's 2 meter apart.
So you expanded as a result of it?
It's really quite impressive.
So you expanded as a result of it?
As a result, I mean, Honduras is like 98% capacity, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
Wow.
But Nicaragua as a whole, I would say it's at 40, 50, 60% capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a big bottleneck going on. You ask any store, like,
Yeah.
hey, how are your name XYZ supplier from Nicaragua? And unless they carry way like a ton of inventory in Miami or whatever, chances are it probably has some back order problems.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're getting shipments every week from Nicaragua. I mean, it's definitely way tighter. I got a lot more gray hairs now. You see here.
I see like 2, but that's it. You're doing good.
No, you should see, man. And I mean, we get stuff every week. We're really fortunate. We feed the beast. But I mean, it's tight, man, and we don't know. I hope it gets better.
It will. It will get better. It will get better. It will. But but obviously, I've known Christian, and he's gonna stay on it. Like that's just his gig.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? As you know, you've been with him. You've been with him for 7 years. He just stays on it, and if you work, I could imagine working for Christian, but I know Christian's type, right? He's not going to accept no for an answer. He wants it.
No.
He wants it, and he wants it, and he wants it in the people's hands. And if he's going to put that freaking stuff on a plane himself, he'll do it. Like that's how he is.
But I'll tell you, man. What I applaud. So, for example, Raul was talking about the Aroa Dark.
Mm-hmm.
That cigar is like the bane of my existence. Like there's that Sacha Baron Cohen movie, the Dictator, where they're having the interview. And they ask a question. The guy's like, "What? I did not hear you." That's what it is about the Road Dark. I'm just like, next question, please, because we use like a really special wrapper.
Yep.
And frankly, we're not going to compromise on the quality or the profile of the cigar just to get it on a boat. So that's something that I'm really proud of. I think a company, we share that value that if it's a shipped product, we don't accept it.
Mm-hmm.
Where there are people that, they see that the business is kind of like a Nike swoosh, right? Even the production's been like this or like this. And some people, they try to ride the wave by just put bands on anything. But with us, like, we still hold by the quality that, hey, listen, this is every cigar we sell, it's somebody's first opportunity to try to brand.
Yep.
And as you know, we only remember the really awesome cigars or the really terrible cigars.
Yep.
And the really terrible cigars, frankly, I smoked a lot of them. And you just don't want to try them again, especially like, you work 8, 9, 10 hours a day, like cubicle or whatever. And this pandemonium, let's just say it's a XYZ cigar. And that thing, you light it up and it burns like on one side. Dude, you're going to be pissed.
Yeah.
And the cigar ruins your day. And so you're not going to go back.
Right.
So that's why we draw test everything. And you know what? If it doesn't go through a draw tester, frankly, that cigar is not being made. Where some people are like, oh, whatever. With us, we take quality really seriously because really, that's the only chance you got.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for jumping in.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And thank you for giving us this definition. Cool. Thank you. I love Raul. Get over here and talk. Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Raul. Oh, he can't hear me yet. Hold on. He's Raul.
Tyler. Well, Robinstein.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. Raul, thank you for all of the information that you had supplied us with today. Definitely a big mouthful. Definitely stuff that we will definitely be talking about for weeks and months on end, for sure. Give my best to Christian and the team, and hope that everyone stays safe. And we're going to see you next time, Raul. Thank you for the update.
Great meeting you, Raul.
Same to you guys. Thank you for the opportunity. You guys are amazing. Always on top of what we're doing, and I appreciate the invite. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Keep shining like you guys do, and thank you for everything.
We will. Stogie Geeks is definitely here to stay. That's for sure. Whether the industry likes it or not, that's how it goes.
We like it.
Alrighty,
like it, man.
Awesome. Raul, thank you for appearing on Stogie Geeks yet again. We appreciate the update. Stogie Geeks, when we come back, we have sticks of the week of what Nelson and I have been smoking. We're going to take a quick break.
Confidence. Confidence isn't walking into a room with your nose in the air, thinking you're better than anyone else. It's walking into a room and not having to compare yourself to anyone in the first place.
Stogie Geeks, welcome back to episode 343. I am your host, Joe Zempa. This is the Sticks of the Week. Nelson and I are going to express what we have been smoking here on Stogie Geeks and give it our rating. And Nelson, you can go first.
Oh, thank you. You know, the sacrifices we make for you guys in trying these different sticks. I always try to try something different, and I try to smoke 2 or 3 before we do these. So this week I'm going to be bringing up one of the yummy bitches. If you know, if you're familiar with Deadwood, they have the 3 yummy bitches. It's the Fat Bottom Betty, Crazy Alice. The third one's escaping me. Joe, help me out. What's the third one?
I know. As soon as you say yummy bitches, I tune out.
I forget. But I tried the Crazy Alice. These sticks are very popular. A lot of them are selling out in different retailers. So it's a 4.5 by 52 stick. It's made by Deadwood Tobacco. Not a lot of information on the wrapper binder filler. They just say that it's an exotic mix of binder filler tobaccos. It is a dark Maduro wrapper, so you know there's that. As far as appearance, it's, as I said, it's a dark Maduro wrapper, minimal veins, but it's a short stick anyway. It had a pigtail cap, which I actually kind of like on sticks now. You can almost bite it off and you're ready to smoke it. But it also had a closed foot. It had the wrapper around the foot too, which is kind of cool. You can smoke it right off the riff. It is listed as a Robusto, although it's not what you would consider a traditional Robusto. It's not even 5 inches long. It looks, I don't want to say exactly, I'll say similar to a Nasty Fritta. It's a cone-shaped cigar. It on the cold draw and on just smelling it, you would think this sucker's infused. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Deadwood claims it is not infused. But when you first take that puff, and even on just smelling it, and even on the cold draw, you're going to swear this sucker's infused. So I don't know what's going on here, but they definitely claim it's not infused. They just claim it's a lot of people liken it to pipe tobacco, which is more aromatic. So that's kind of what they say it is. So even though it's like the Nasty Fritta, it's just an appearance. Other than that, it's nothing like the Nasty Fritta. So the first half, I will say this thing produces a lot of smoke. Not overwhelming, but more than your typical cigar and more you'd expect from such a small stick. But, you know, I actually wrote down in my notes, ba-bam, like that. As soon as I started smoking that sucker, tons of sweetness. I mean, just overwhelming sweetness. And again, not infused, natural tobacco sweetness, apparently. Very aromatic. So it actually, as you're smoking it, even the smoke becomes part of the experience because of how it smells. So that combined with the notes you're getting, super, super sweet in the beginning. As I got into the second half, I'll call it candy-like sweetness sort of muted a little bit. It wasn't super strong like it was in the beginning. And I started to get a little more, some coffee notes in there with the sweetness, which was actually, that part was actually kind of nice. And then as I got into, I don't want to call it the third half because the stick's so damn small.
Sure.
You can't say it's 3/3, but whatever. In the finish, I'll call it. In the finish, it picked up again with the sweetness came back again. So not my kind of thing, I'll be honest. Just I'm not like a sweet infused, again, not infused, but not that type of person. So I would say try one because it's definitely different. So I'd give it a Stogie Geeks rating of a try one.
Okay. It's a lot of build-up for a try one. I like it.
I know. It was. Well, hey, it was.
Drew does that a lot.
It was a journey, dude. It was. This shit was a journey. I was like, what's happening here? Never smoked anything like this.
Yep.
It was totally different.
Yep. you can, that's the second stick that you reviewed of late that consumers have said, it's got to be infused, it's got to be infused, it's got to be infused, and it's not.
Oh, the brulee.
Yeah, I think that it's because it's super sweet. Like tobacco has a lot of flavors, and for those of you who don't know, outside of Stogie Geeks, I am a entrepreneur in residence for a pipe tobacco company. So and so obviously when I go and do my work over there for my business, I take out the pipe and test the blends, and you're using you're packing the bowl, the pipe, and doing that there, and then you have a soft flame. You don't want to ever do a torch with the pipe, and you do a soft flame, and you're like, oh my god, like this is like coming from a cigar smoker. Now, is pipe tobacco smoking my bag? No, we live in the Northeast, so like winter months, absolutely. You stand outside, you smoke your bowl, you hang out. It's not as long as a cigar.
Yeah.
Or, you have that there. The aromatic aspect of it is a little less invasive than a cigar there. And the point is you're having tobacco that's not infused, and you're tasting like pure chocolate, or you're tasting pure cherry, like a cherry Cavendish, and you're tasting there. Like I could do a whole podcast on the pipe stuff, right? And it's like, if you've experienced that with the pipe, then you say, okay, I believe that it's not infused. You know what I mean? And so that if they say it's not infused, it's not infused, and that's up for them to.
Yeah, that's interesting. I bet you pipe smokers would say, oh no, that's natural tobacco.
Yeah.
That's where that sweetness is coming from.
Yep. And you can get like crazy sweetness. When I owned the cigar shop, we used to have on one side of the walk-in, we had an L-shaped humidor. So you have all humidor and cabinets, and then L, and then TV, walk through hallway, bathroom, and on the other side we had all pipe tobacco stuff. And people would come and type pipe tobacco, and they would do blending seminars. The old timers would come because we had like a natural wooden bowl, and they would make all different blends. I've talked about this a couple times in the show, but they would make a natural wooden bowl and do like a testing, and they'd like, oh, can we use your shop to do a testing? I want to do a bowl. I was like, yeah. And then like what they would do is they would do it enough to fill like those jars that are front and facing, those little, I don't know what those jars are called. They're glass jars, right? And they would make it, and we would sell it by the ounce. And the thing is, like, it would switch every month. So all the pipe tobacco smokers would come. They'd have the blending of the day, and then they'd buy their, 2 ounce, 4 ounce, 6 ounce, or a pound, whatever they wanted to. And then they would get that. And then it's amazing how you can see all the different blends switch and how they cure it in a bowl. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know, I'm not much of a cook, but you know how you take like if you were to take a walk and like shuffle it around,
right, you're flipping it,
whatever. I don't know what that's called, but well, whatever that's called, it's super cool to watch, right? No, because the old time is like doing all of that there. But the point is, you're gonna get like a really cool, super cool sweetness, and so it cannot be infused. How to replicate that with cigars? I would imagine that it's within the filler, coming from just putting those two worlds together and seeing a cigar being constructed. It's got to be in the filler, in my opinion. And then you get a mix of sprinkle that stuff all around, and away you go. You can get some sweet flavors.
So what do you have, Joe?
What am I smoking now?
No, what are you reviewing today?
I'm sorry. I freaking love this stick. It's the Tatuaje Black Petite Lancero. Wrapper binder filler is all Nicaragua. Complexity, flavor, and balance. Complexity, if you retrohale, I give it a 9. Flavor and balance, I give it 9s. It's just so super good. When you first start off, you get super strong pepper and spice. Then it calms down, and it just settles into something just really special. That's all I got to say. Like, that's my description of the stick.
That was your experience.
That's my experience. Absolutely a fan of the brand for sure. And that being said, I mean, I gave it a box worthy. Paul has some in his humidor, not the petite black Lanceros, but they're petite. They're like Corona size. And oh man, you barely get a bullet cut into them. But if you can be careful and get the bullet cut into them, and they're so friggin' tasty. Again that petite black line from Tatuaje, I absolutely positively love it.
Doesn't let you down.
No, absolutely not. It's super cool. There. What I'm smoking now is I'm actually smoking. This is the Robusto version of the master blends that we've been promoting last month.
Oh, the Oliva.
Oliva.
Yeah, I like that.
Dude, have you had? I gave you some. Did you have those yet?
I have to tell you, I don't normally smoke Olivas, but I did. As Joe said, he had given me a couple of the Masters blend, and I was surprisingly impressed.
Dude,
I did like the Masters blend.
I mean, you know, I've said on record here on the show, so I'm not afraid to say it. Oliva, I'm like Gilberto Oliva or Melanio, but this here, this is and I've confirmed this with sources at Oliva, right? This is constructed exclusively for Holtz, and their so when they do their master blend series for whatever orders that they need to fulfill in there, it is different than a regular Oliva that you would get in a store.
I mean, I'm looking at it now. It even has there's a great razor sharp, almost a razor sharp burn there.
Yeah. I
had the same experience.
I've been bullet cutting these and enjoying these, and you know, I've even went to Paul during our weekly shuffle of business. I'm like, hey man, check those out. Those will leave. I'm like, nah, you got. Yeah, I know. I was the same way. Like,
it's different though. It's not like their regular line of sticks.
Not.
No, not at all.
It's not. It's It reminds me of the description of how I gave the Gilberto Oliva. It's just classic old school. I'm not saying that the other Olivas, but I'm just not into like the O and the other ones V. I'm just that's not
my thing. And
not my bag.
I'm okay. I don't mind the Melanios. I'll smoke them. But I definitely, if I had to pick an Oliva, it would be the Masters blend.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like anything else in their line.
It's not. And when I first had it, from when we did the promotion, because all that time, Stogie Geeks, I was showing you a brick. I did take 3 out to test it before.
Maybe a few missing.
All right, to test it before. But I kept the brick together for a while. Well, now we dismantled the brick and we're smoking them and enjoying them. And I'm just like, wow, like for those Stogie Geeks who got in on that action from that promo, I think that they're not going to be disappointed at all. It's a super cool price bundle that will add a little bit of volume and substance to your humidor, and it's slightly different and it is completely different than what you would get in a brick and mortar.
And it doesn't break the bank either.
No.
Doesn't break the bank.
You know, but yeah, so absolutely. But that's how I'm smoking right now.
I like absolutely. How you shoehorn 2 reviews into one. I like that.
Well, you know, I'm good.
It's your show.
Well, it's not my show. It's a listener's show, right? We established that last week. What else have you been smoking?
Avo. I know he hates when I say that. I just did it on purpose.
Oh,
the Avo's quickly becoming my new favorite line. I was actually telling Joe before the show, huge fan of their Ritmo South American, really good stick. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. But they just came out with 2 new additions to their regional edition. Last year they came out with the East-West. This year they came out with the North-South. So I'm today reviewing the Avo Regional North Edition. Actually got it the beginning of the week, I think. Just grabbed it. I had called some retailers because it was coming out in August, and I had called around trying to find them. And apparently there was delays in shipping, and a lot of retailers that were going to get it in September didn't get it. But starting in October, it started to creep in. So I did find a retailer finally that had them. So, you know, if you can't find them, they're coming. Believe me, I am aware of some of the delays. But so I tried the Avo Regional North Edition. And I love Perfectos. I think I might have said that on the show before. I'm a huge fan of Perfectos. So it's a 6 5/8 by 50 Perfecto. Retails for about $14. That seems to be the average price. It's a Dominican Puro and with an Orlo Seco binder and a St. Vincent filler, which is from Northern Dominican, hence Avo Regional North Edition. I thought this was a great smoke, and literally I've never the notes I've tasted, and I was talking to Joe, he can attest to this before the show. There was one note in there that I kept getting, and I just could not put my finger on it, but I'll talk more about that. So great ash. I mean, the ash buildup on that sucker, that thing was built perfect for smoking. Average smoke on it. I had one touch-up, which actually I'm going to attest might be user error myself because I talk too much, and I think it might have just gone out. But just being honest, just total transparency. I'm being honest. I got a creamy start to it. It was very creamy in the beginning, which, it's a lighter wrapper on it, so that didn't surprise me too much. And then I got some notes of hay in there, a little earthy hay going on in there. And then again, as I'm saying, that there's a note in there. I'm just going to say it, and people are going to ridicule me for it, and I don't care. It was like an ocean note. It just reminded me of the ocean. I don't know what it could be, but it was like an ocean note. That's what I was getting. Seaworthy.
Salty?
It wasn't salty. It was like the ocean, seafoody. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. I got, again, I'm going to talk. The score I gave was based on that note. Yep. It's literally based on that note.
It left you wanting more?
Exactly.
Sure. I haven't had that yet, so I'm looking, based upon what you've told me off air, I'm very intrigued.
Yeah. So it gained a little pepper in the middle. It was a little less creamy, and the pepper came back a little bit. And then I got a little bit of citrus also on the second, third, which was nice. That was actually a nice pickup there. And then the finish, I got a stronger peppery note on the end, and then that mystery note came back. So I got it in the beginning. It was more subtle in the middle, and then at the end, I got that Gordon's Fisherman note, whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
So, I mean, to me, this was a complex stick. It took me for a ride. This sucker took me for a ride. I had not like any other cigar I've ever smoked. I'm not saying it's the best cigar I ever smoked. I'm just saying I've never smoked a cigar like this. So Joe hit it on the head. For me, this is a box split. I'm going to give it more than a try one. Like, I want more of these. I definitely want more of these. So I'm giving it a box split. I got to get to the bottom of what the hell that mystery note is.
Well, I like to break things down and find out what's unique about the stick, and then from there, try to find some that are kind of mimic that.
Yeah.
Other brand names.
I've never had anything like this.
Yeah, that's good. Your palate's a judge thing. I would venture to say that if you're gonna say seaworthy, quote unquote, if Tobacconist University tells you that you only get 5 flavors, saltiness is one of them.
So maybe that's it.
It's probably like a salty umami component that's making you go like, what the heck is this? And
I mean, I don't know if you saw, I was sitting next to Joe when I was smoking, and I don't know if you saw, I was zoned in.
Yeah, and I was working on some
I was smoking
crazy stuff.
I did for you, Stogie Geeks, for you guys. I probably retrohaled 27 times this thing, trying to figure out what the hell that note was.
Yep.
Because it was just, it became like I didn't have a choice. I just wanted to figure out what it was.
Yeah, my next suggestion is when you have one, again, have it in the morning, and don't have it when you're doing work.
Just focus on the stick.
Just focus on the stick and enjoy that ride. And then tear apart the stick regionally and component-wise for yourself, for your own notes, not for Stogie Geeks. And then do a little bit of homework and try to find some other sticks that might mimic that.
Yeah.
And basically on the series, I mean, Avo's come up with some pretty creative stuff with the Ritmo series, right? So, it might not, but, you'll find some sort of a component and some sort of a journeyed answer from there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Without getting all philosophical.
Yeah, no, I'm looking for. I mean, it just came out, so I'm looking forward to what other people are going to say about it. What notes they say they're picking up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure there'll be more to this story.
Yep, absolutely. Anything else you want to add to that?
No.
Okay,
Like I said, it's
cool.
a box split. Try it. I mean, I'm looking forward to trying the South. So
It'd be interesting how you compare the North to the South, right? And again, a lot of these times, like with COVID and everything, and stories, and cigar companies can take some time out to release the stories, but get a little bit of regionally specific with some of their offerings, and you might find out that I'm a northern guy, like whatever's in the components of the northern, and you gotta smoke multiple to come to this conclusion. I'm not saying that this answer is going to come to you over next week, but as you go through your smoker's journey in Stogie Geeks, you obviously go through your own journey. That I'm a northern guy. That's like me. Like people like, well, you mention a lot of red wines with cigars. I get emails and stuff like that, and I said, yeah. Well, I tried a Merlot, and then I'm like, well, have you tried a Melback? And they're like, no, and I'm like, okay, like. And then I always get the email, well, it's a Merlot. I get that, but it's actually to geek out a little bit on wine. It's it's a rockier soil at a higher elevation. So even though the process of making the Merlot is the same, so it's like, okay, so now I can legitimately say to Stogie Geeks, if I'm pairing something, and I think I did it on last segment just subconsciously, like freaking red wine, like it's Cabernet and Melback, like bang. You know what I mean?
and that's what I like about the regional editions that Avo's putting out is it's different, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally north, south, east, west. You can try tobacco from these different regions.
Yep,
it's pretty cool.
It is. It's very cool. And the good news out about it is it's your journey of a palette of that you likes, and
right on.
And that's what I think is super cool. If you could break down those. Speaking of breaking things down, I had the Ortega Series D Exclusivo, and this is format is a Toro. It's a 6x52, and the wrapper is Ecuadorian Habano, but it's a Rosado wrapper. Note that for a second.
Like those. And
binder and filler on Nicaraguan. It's available in 6 different sizes: 4.5 by 48, 5 by 46, 5 by 52, 5.5 by 50, 6 by 52, and then of course 6 by 60. I don't know how a 6 by 60 Rosado wrapper would taste, but I mean I do, but I'm not a 60 guy, right? I had this in 2 different sizes, 4.5 by 48, and I had it on the 6 by 52, and I got citrus and pepper. Seemed to be the primary notes in the beginning, and then in the middle you start to get the caramel notes that come up in the background, and then the smoke moves and you get like a woody pepper flavor towards the end. Stick is completely well balanced, and I bullet cut it, which I often do, but smoke this thing right down to the nub.
Nice.
And that being said, the reason why I think it was so succulent for me is the Rosado wrapper. So it tells me, like, okay, so now I went on my own journey, right? I make a note, like I just said with Nelson. I like the Rosado wrapper. And it's like, if you take out Arturo Fluente 858, and then you go Arturo Fluente 858 with the Rosado wrapper.
One of my favorites.
It's freaking night and day.
Oh, yeah.
And so it tells me that I'm getting that flavor from that Rosado wrapper. And that's my journey that I like. And if you Stogie Geeks, in fact, the last time Paul was on a show was August of 2019. We spoke about the Rosado wrapper.
Yeah,
like of when we went to Casa Fuente over in Vegas and all of that stuff. And like you have them, and you're like, dude, like the Rosado wrapper is. And so I try to look out for sticks that have that Rosado wrapper, even though the mainstream stuff might be in there. Like obviously Arturo Fuente, makes ample amount of sticks, but the Rosado wrappers are like the ones you gotta really get them, and that's the experience you get when you go into your tobacconist as opposed to either online. Is so because now you can say, okay, like what do you got in the Rosado wrapper? And if they don't know, then they should know. But that's another issue for another time. But that being said, the Ortega Series D Exclusivo, I mean, that's box split all day.
Nice.
And one of the reasons why I made it a box split is just simply because the trying to track that stick down could be a little bit of a challenge. They're not really readily available you're not going to walk into your local brick and mortar unless they're like all over it, trying to get that there. And I don't like sending the Stogie Geeks listeners on a wild goose chase. So there you go. One thing I wanted to talk about right before we take off is the promotion. If you go to StogieGeeks.com and wait for the banners to flip, it might come up first, it might come up third, I don't know, right? There is a Bricktoberfest for Oktoberfest that's coming out with our partners over as JC Newman celebrates Bricktoberfest 2020. If you want the information, you click on that banner ad there, sign up, you go and you tag onto social media. Every week, JC Newman's giving out a different prize. You can follow JC Newman on social media as well and use the hashtags there. But if you click on the link, during Bricktoberfest of 2020, it'll run from October 1st through October 31st. You can show your love for Brickhouse cigars and get into the Oktoberfest spirit. When you purchase 7 Brickhouse cigars at local retailers, you get a free Brickhouse 2020 Stein there. Then you can go in the social media component. You post a picture of yourself celebrating your Bricktoberfest on social media on either Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, or all three. Use the hashtag Bricktoberfest there, and you'll be wrapped up to win weekly drawings. If you follow JC Newman on any of their social media platforms, you'll be able to see who won. I'm assuming that you might want to stay close to that if you participated in the program. But again, you end up getting a Stein. You get some super cool sticks. We reviewed the Bricktoberfest here, obviously, in the past. Those sticks won't disappoint. And hey, man, if you get a big Stein, then you can fill it up with beer, and that's not a
they're
bad
cool. I've seen the Stein.
It's not a bad afternoon anyway.
It's a good. And you know what? I will applaud JC Newman. They have one of the best social media presence of cigar brands. I mean, they're very accessible. So I get my hats off to JC Newman because I've posted a lot of stuff on Instagram, and they've actually replied to me or commented or whatever. So hats off to them. They do a good job. But yeah, that Stein is badass. I actually thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you follow me on Facebook, Joe Hozempa, or twitter.com/Joe Hozempa, I posted something on JC Newman too, and I'll just end you with this. They're doing a spooky series too of employees that, and they're only quick 3 to 5 minute snippets of videos of employees that have had, you got to remember, it's the oldest factory in North America here. It's the oldest factory. And they've reported some kind of spooky findings and whatnot in the spirit of Halloween and whatnot. Now, Zach from whatever that show is and all of that isn't involved or anything. It's just employees saying that they've had
paranormal guy, you mean?
Yeah. I just think it's just worth a quick watch for you to kind of do that and then check that out. I've shared it on my social media there. If you're not on social media and you're listening or watching this, you can email me at joeh@stogiegeeks.com. Or if you go to YouTube and go to the JC Newman page, subscribe to them. It'll come up in their videos, and away you go with that. I just thought it was super cool. Halloween is coming.
Right, yeah.
Some people get rowdy with all of that type stuff, but I think it's 125 years of a factory. You have some families that have now they have generational families, and it's funny because in the interview series they actually interview the employee who says, I'm third generation, my mother or father worked here, and this is what they've experienced and stuff like that. I just think it's just worth a share for you to check that out, and so did JC Newman because they shared that as well. So hey man, if you want some spooky stories from the oldest factory, it might be worth to check that out. Stogie Geeks, Nelson, thank you for appearing here again.
Joe, thanks for having me.
Yet on Stogie Geeks. I want to thank
Always a
Raul
pleasure.
from C.L.E. for an awesome interview and an update of everything that has been going on with C.L.E. and Asylum and Wynwood Hills and the Aurora brand. It's super cool. Remember, we keep the conversation going all week long. You can visit us at StogieGeeks.com. Email all of your complaints to Nelson at StogieGeeks.com. You can follow us over on Facebook. That's where we're the most active. Instagram, not so much. Twitter, we do post all the shows and some upcoming stuff that has happened. Behind every cigar, I want to remind you that there's a story worth knowing, so get out there and find your own journey. Stogie Geeks, thank you very much for watching and listening. Special thanks to J.C. Newman Cigar Company, Havana Cigar Club, and Placencia Cigars. Stogie Geeks, we'll see you next week. Peace.